Today we'll take chapter 4 linear equations in two variables. The taxi fare in a city is as follows. For the first kilometer, the fare is rupees 8 and for the subsequent distance it is rupees 5 per kilometer. Taking the distance covered as x kilometers and the total fare as rupees y, write the linear equation for this information and show the graph. Now, as you can see, the conditions are given itself in the question. Which two variables are to be used is already quite evidently shown to you in the second line. As you can see that total distance covered should be taken as x kilometer. It is already hinted in the question. So we did not work over it that what variables are we going to use. The variables are already given in the question. The two variables are x and y. And what is x? It is the total distance covered. And what is y? Y is rupees. Y is in rupees and that is total fare. So it is the amount, that is why it's in rupees. So you should write rupees y, and for x you must write kilometers. Why? Because kilometers means it is the distance. It is related to distance. Fare for the first kilometer is rupees 8. Now, as you all know that when we hire uh, any vehicle like four-wheeler, if we hire it, a cab or any in Ola, Uber or any cab, if you hire, then they charge you one fixed amount. That amount is for the first kilometer. So here, first kilometer, you must take the amount over here in the question. It is given that they are charging rupees 8. So the third step will be your right fare for first kilometer, that is rupees 8. And then as you again move to the question, it is continuing that for the subsequent distance it is rupees 5 per kilometer. Now what means the subsequent distance? Here the children commit certain mistakes. Now what do they do? That they say that subsequent distance is x, but that is wrong. Be very careful. In the subsequent distance, you have to eliminate 1 kilometer. It means you have to subtract that 1 kilometer. Once you subtract that 1 kilometer, that is called the subsequent distance. Means you have to remove the 1 kilometer which is charged. For that first kilometer, the charge is fixed. So the subsequent distance is minus 1. For example, if you are going for 5 kilometers distance, if you are going somewhere to your destination is 5 kilometers away, then what means the subsequent distance? The subsequent distance is 5 minus 1, that is 4 kilometers. Why? Because the first kilometer is already having a fixed charge. So be careful about it that the next step will be x minus 1 kilometers, not x kilometers. Now, what is the fare for the subsequent distance? The fare for the subsequent distance is rupees 5 into x minus 1. Why? Because 5 rupees for 1 kilometer, then for x minus 1 kilometer, multiply by 5. So 5 into x minus 1. Now let us make an equation. What means when I say let us make an equation, it means what? I mean to say you that make LHS and RHS. In LHS, you are having Y. What is Y? That is total fare. Whenever, be careful, whenever you are making an equation, it should have both in both the sides, LHS and RHS, both the sides, it should have the same units. Like if it is in rupees, then the entire equation should be in rupees. If it is in kilometers, then the entire equation should be in kilometers. Here we are taking the equation in rupees. So Y is the total fare, it is in rupees and it becomes the LHS. And what about the RHS? In RHS, 8 rupees is the first kilometers charge. So put that 8 plus again 5 into x minus 1. What is it? It is also amount. So here also you are going to put rupees. That is also in rupees. So you see the LHS is in rupees and RHS is also in rupees. It can never happen that LHS is in kilometers and RHS is in rupees. That cannot happen. So be careful about it. Here y is the total fare. And what is the total fare? The fare for first kilometer, that is 8 rupees plus 5 into x minus 1, which is the fare of the subsequent kilometers. That's all. Now the remaining part is solving the equation. Remove the bracket and start solving the equation. And now we will plot the graph of this equation. Which equation? Y is equal to 5x plus 3. For plotting the graph, we need a table. Now here you can see that in order to plot the graph, I have to take a table. In the table, you can see two columns. It means I have taken two random values of x, and for that I have got the respective values of y. So what are the values of x which I have taken? They are very simple ones. I have taken 0 and 1. So replace 0 in this equation, y is equal to 5x plus 3. Replace 0 in the place of x. Then you get 5 into 0 plus 3, hence you get 3. And then in the next column, you can see x is equal to 1. Replace x with 1, then you get 5 into 1 plus 3, therefore y is equal to 8. So the two pairs of coordinates are 0, 3 and 1, 8. We will plot them on the graph. As you can see on the graph, point A represents the coordinate pair of coordinate 0, 3, and point B represents the pair of coordinate 1, 8. Join these 2 points with a line, and don't forget to mention the equation on the line. See here I have written the equation y is equal to 5x plus 3. The work done by the body on the application of constant force is directly proportional to the distance travelled by the body. Express this in the form of an equation in two variables and draw the graph of the same by taking the constant force as SI units. Now here you have to be very careful that the force is constant. So we need not take force as variable. So be careful that force will never become a variable because it is constant. It is already given in the question that the force is having constant force is 5 units. It is having constant value, that is 5 units. Now let us move a little bit towards the science formula. What is work done? Work done is always equal to force into distance traveled, right? Work done is in the direction, in certain direction. If you travel certain distance, then you need a force, and for that force, after applying the force, any 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 body will come in motion. When you apply force, the body comes into motion. When it comes into motion, it travels certain distance. These are the consequences of force. When you apply force, the body moves in certain direction. So force and distance traveled are go together. So, and then only if the distance is being traveled, then only we can say that work is done. If a distance is not traveled, if the displacement doesn't take place, then we cannot say that the work is done. So work done is equal to force into distance, or work done is the product of force and distance. Another thing is work is directly proportionate. See here it is given. The work of a body on a constant force is directly proportionate to the distance traveled. The more the distance traveled, it means the more work has been done. It means the more force has been applied. So these are all scientific part of this question. Let us move to the mathematical part. Now work is the product of force and distance. I already told you that in our sum force is constant, and that is how much? That is 5 units. Now let us replace this work and distance with variables because they are varying. Let the work done be y units. It's given in the we have used that work done is y units and the distance traveled is x units. So let us assume, let us take that the work done is y units and the distance traveled is x units. So these are the two variables that we are going to use. Now work done means y is equal to force. Force, how much force we are going to apply? We are going to apply force 5 units. So replace F with 5 and replace D with X. Why? Because D is the variable X units. The distance traveled is X units. So Y is equal to 5X. Now this equation will be used to plot the graph. plot the graph of equation y is equal to 5x. Now I have prepared a table. In the table I have taken 3 columns and I have taken 3 random values of x and obtained the respective values of y by replacing the values of x in the equation. And in this sum I have used the very simple values of x. They are 0, 1 and 2. In the first place you can see over here, when x is equal to 0, then y will be 5 into 0, that is 0. So we have plotted in the table 0, 0. The first pair of coordinate is ready. Now let us move to the second pair of coordinate. For that I have replaced x with 1. So I get y is equal to 5 into 1, that is 5. And the second one is I have replaced x with 2, so I get 5 into 2, y is equal to 10. You have to show these 3 steps in your answer. Don't directly write the table. You have to write how you obtain these 3 values. After obtaining these 3 values, you have to plot the pair of coordinates in the graph. As you can see, A represents the first pair 0, 0. Point B represents the second pair 1, 5 and C represents the third pair of coordinates, that is 2 and 10. Join, here B is represented by it. Join the 3 points with a line, as you can see the pink line which is joining the 3 points, and here you have to write that y is equal to 5x on the line. Now here, even in the question, it is asked that what will be the work done when the distance traveled is 2 units. So it's already in our table. You need not go anywhere, just move to the table. In the table you can see when the distance traveled is 2 units, the work done is 10. And what about the second question? The second part is also given in the question. What will be the work done when the distance traveled is 0 units? Again move to the table. When the distance traveled, it means the x coordinate is 0. Then what will be the work done? Work done will be the y coordinate. So the y coordinate will also be 0. Hence, when the distance traveled is 0 units, the work done is also 0 units. It's also there in the graph. You can go to the graph, you can go to the table and write the answer. And let me tell you one trick, that whatever is asked in the question, you make the table of those numbers itself. So your sum will become easier and more time will not be consumed. See, they are already asking x is equal when x is equal to 2, when x is equal to 0. So you use those numbers only in the table. Use 0, 2, so the sum will also become easier. It will be easier to plot the graph also, and it will be easier for to write also the answers directly from the table and graph. Yamini and Fatima, students of class 9th of a school together, contributed 100 rupees towards the Prime Minister's Relief Fund to help the earthquake victims. Write the linear equation which satisfies this data. We may take the contribution to be rupees x and rupees y. This is the first time they have given a hint that which variables are to be used. So it's so simple. The sum has become easier because of this hint. Already they have told that the contribution of Yamini should be taken as rupees x and the contribution of Fatima should be taken as rupees y, which is already hinted in the question. So you need not even think which variables are to be used. Now you have to draw the graph of the same. Every time you are drawing the graph by plotting the points. Let us now start. Let the contribution of Yamini and Fatima towards the Prime Minister's Relief Fund to help the earthquake victims be rupees x and rupees y respectively. What means respectively? Yamini's contribution is rupees x and Fatima's contribution is rupees y. Now, according to the question, what means according to the question? Every time you are writing according to the question, it means the condition is already given in the question. What is the condition? The sum of their contribution is 100 rupees. It means x plus y. The sum of that contribution together will be x plus y. And that sum is equal to 100 rupees is the condition already given in the question. So I already told you that to form an equation, we have to apply the condition. And on applying the condition, we get LHS and RHS. And once we get LHS and RHS, then the equation is formed. So x plus y is equal to 100, and the sum is as it is. Very simple. You have to find the value of y, which is 100 minus x. Now let us take three values, random values of x, and find the respective values of y. I I've already always told you that it will be easier for you to take x is equal to 0 once and y is equal to 0 another time. It will be very helpful to you. It will consume less time, and the sum sometimes becomes very easy. Sometimes it does not work also. In one of the sum previously we saw that when we put y is equal to 0, we are getting a fraction also. So it can happen at times, but most of the times the sum becomes easy. So it's what you always try it. And you have to try it. And if you are finding it easier, then you put it. If you think that the fraction is there, then don't use 0. You use some other number. Do it certain work orally also, but always this tip will help you. The tip is that put x is equal to 0 one time and y is equal to 0 the another time. That the same trick I have used over here. When I am replacing x with 0, I am getting y is equal to 100, and when I am replacing y with 0, I will be getting x is equal to 100. And when I am putting here x is equal to 50, then y is also equal to 50. So these are the points which I am going to use in the table. Now, here we are having the table with three columns, and we have taken three random values of x for which we get the values of y. What is the condition? X plus y is equal to 100. Now, first we take 0, then we get 100. In the second column, you can see I have taken the value of x is equal to 50. If Yamin is contributing 50 rupees, then Fatima will also contribute 50 rupees. So 50 and 50. And third, Yamin is contributing the whole entire sum 100 rupees, then Fatima will contribute 0 rupees. Using these three pair of coordinates, you are going to plot them on the graph. As you can see, they are indicated by C, B and D. Join these 3 points, write the coordinates, don't forget to write the coordinates, and even don't forget to write the equation in the side. In countries like USA and Canada, temperature is measured in Fahrenheit, whereas in countries like India, it is measured in Celsius. Here is a linear equation that converts Fahrenheit into Celsius. This can be very useful to you even in your day-to-day life. These equations are conversion equations, and this formula will be very much useful to you in even your future life. And it is asked in many competitive exams also. Many sums are asked related to this formula in lots of competitive exams. So what is the formula? To convert Fahrenheit into Celsius or Celsius into Fahrenheit, vice versa. You can use this formula for both the conversions. Let us begin with the formula. F is equal to 9 by 5 multiplied by C plus 32. Now, using this formula, we are first going to plot a graph. Now, as you can see, I have taken two values of x and found the respective values of y in the table. Sometimes two coordinates are also enough. But further you will see that in this question, I am going to find other coordinates as they are already asked in the questions. So we can use those coordinates after we are finding their answers. So that can be an additional information, but minimum we have to use any two random values of x. So why did I choose this 0 and minus 40? Then there is also a reason behind it, which I am going to tell you. I already told you that it is a good decision that we start with 0. So when I am taking x is equal to 0, you can see in this equation on replacing c with 0, as let me tell you that here the x coordinate is C. Celsius is represented by X and Fahrenheit is represented by Y. So the variable y is representing Fahrenheit and the variable x is representing Celsius. Now I'm replacing this x with 0. Then what will I get as y? Y will be 32 because 0 into 9 upon 5 will be 0 plus 32, hence y will be 32. And why I used minus 40 and minus 40, that also I'll tell you that this is the value of x. When we take the value of x as minus 40, we will get the value of y also minus 40. It means at this value, both Celsius and Fahrenheit are equal. This you can remember also. It's very easy for you to remember. If you take Celsius minus 40, then your Fahrenheit will also be minus 40. Using this information, we are going to plot the graph. Now here you can see we have plotted the graph and we have taken the two pairs of coordinates. The first pair is 0, 32. It is represented on the graph by point A and the point B is representing the second pair of coordinate, that is minus 40, minus 40. Now join these 2 points A and B with the line and name the line as y is equal to 9 upon 5x plus 32. This is the formula of converting Fahrenheit into Celsius or Celsius into Fahrenheit. So using this formula, we have plotted the graph also. If the temperature is 30 degrees Celsius, what is the temperature in Fahrenheit? It means we are going to convert the Celsius into Fahrenheit using the same formula. Now here we will replace C with 30. In the place of C, we are going to write 30. And we are going to do the calculation. 5 6 are 30, 9 6 are 54. 54 plus 32 is 86. So the Fahrenheit will be 86. Now, if the temperature is 95 degree F, what is the temperature in Celsius? Now here also you can see, but this is a reverse order. Here Fahrenheit is given and we are going to convert the temperature into Celsius. I told you we are going to use the same formula, but this time we will replace F with 95 and C will remain as the same. The variable C will be the same. And we are going to replace F with 95. So 95 is equal to 9 upon 5 multiplied by C plus 32. Now first we will transpose 32. Remember that whatever is in addition or subtraction is transposed first. So on transposing 32, we are getting 95 minus 32. Now that is equal to 63. And then what are we going to do? We are going to take the reciprocal of 9 by 5. In order to find C, we will transpose 9 by 5 to RHS. But that time we are going to take the reciprocal. So on taking the reciprocal, we get 5 upon 9. Again, we'll do the cutting. 9 7s are 63. 7 into 5 is 35 degrees Celsius. Now let me tell you, you can even use this information in the graph also. Like x-axis, x coordinate will be 30, as you can see in the question. The x coordinate, if x coordinate can be 30, then y coordinate will be 86. So you get one more pair, 30 and 86. You can get another pair also, where you can see that see x coordinate is 35 and y coordinate is 95. So you can use these two coordinates in the previous table also to find the values of to plot them in the graph. So you can get two more pairs of coordinate using this information of the sum. I told you also previously that we will find two more coordinates which is already asked in the subparts of the question. So this information can be useful to plot in the graph. We had already plotted two pairs. One was 0, 32, another was minus 40, minus 40. Now you can use this information also. The third pair you can use is 30, 86 and the fourth one will be 35, 95. So you see you got four pairs. And without consuming more time, you have just used this information in the table. So this is how you can save times in while doing sums during exams. If the temperature is 0 degree C, what is the temperature in Fahrenheit? And if the temperature is 0 degree F, then what is the temperature in Celsius? So vice versa, we are going to do. First, we will replace C with 0, and in the second time, we will replace F with 0. So you can see over here, first I have replaced, in first equation, I have replaced C with 0. So on replacing C with 0, you see that the entire first term is getting eliminated. 9 upon 5 multiplied by 0 is 0. And the second number 32 is remaining. So F is equal to 32 degrees Celsius. And in the second part, you can see that we have replaced F with 0. But what about C? It will remain as it is. And then what we are going to do, we are going to just do transposing. First we will transpose 32 to the left side, then we will get minus 32. And then on transposing 9 by 5, we have to, you know that whenever there is a fraction, we take its reciprocal. So on taking the reciprocal of 9 by 5, we are getting 5 by 9. And here its value is in decimal. So you have to do certain calculations, divisions. And on dividing, you will get a decimal part also 0.77. So the answer is minus 17.77 degree, which it is in Celsius, because here we have found out C. Now this also information can be useful to you in the graph 032, which is already there in our graph, that when we are taking x0, we are getting y32. So how we are getting? It's over here. It is represented in this slide. How did we get it? I told you that I will show you how did we get 0 and 32. So here is the slide which is showing you the value of x when it is taken 0, then you get the value of y 32. You did not take this 17.77. It is a difficult one. So just don't use this. Don't use y is equal to 0. That also I have told you previously that every time this trick does not work, that once you take x0 and once you take y0. See, when we are taking y is equal to 0, the trick is not working because you are getting a complicated answer. So you need not use this. And I even told you that if you are having 2 to 3 pairs of coordinates, then it's enough. You are already having 3 pairs of coordinates. So you need not go for fourth pair and make the sum complicated. Now this is very interesting part of the sum. Here they are asking, is there a temperature which is numerically the same in both Fahrenheit and Celsius? If yes, find them. So this is very important in related to even day-to-day life, general knowledge, and I always tell you in competitive exam this question is very much a hit question. Always they used to ask this type of question, that when does Fahrenheit and Celsius become equal? These are questions which are asked in quiz also. This question is usually asked in mathematical quiz. So the temperature is minus 40. We have already plotted in the graph. Now we are going to find out how did it come. How did we come at this result? Now here you see the formula is as it is. F is equal to 9 upon 5 into C plus 32. But here you see I am not using the word C, but I have replaced C with F. Do you know why I have done it? Near 9 upon 5, you cannot see C, but you can see an F. Why? Because as the question, it is in the question that both C and F are equal. So we can replace C with F. Now why did I do it? I did it to convert this whole equation into an equation in single variable. Previously we had other equation in two variables, which were the two variables F and C. But here I can easily convert the entire equation in single variable, that is F. For that, what I have to do? I have to replace C with F. And yes, I can do it because the question is already demanding it. The question is saying that if C and F are equal, then why can't I use F instead of C to progress further in the sum? Now this equation is an equation in a single variable, so it will be very easy for us to solve it. Now we will transpose 9 upon 5f to LHS. We will get f minus 9 upon 5f. Now 32 will be in RHS as it is. Now let us take the LCM. Let us cross multiply f with 5, then we get 5f, and minus 9f upon, find the denominator. 5f minus 9f is minus 4f. Don't forget the minus symbol. Certain students commit the mistake of writing only 4f and they forget the minus symbol. So be careful about it. Minus 4f upon 5 is equal to 32, which is in RHS. 32 is in RHS all the time. Don't tamper it. It will be as it is. Now let us find the value of f. For that we have to transpose minus 4 upon 5 to the RHS. And you already know that when we transpose a fraction, it is getting converted into its reciprocal. So let us take the reciprocal of 4 upon 5. It is 5 upon 4. And yes, never forget the minus symbol. Here is the minus symbol. Now cut 4 and 32. 4 8s are 32. 8 5s are 40. And here's the answer minus 40. Now this is the value of f. But can it be also with the value of c also? F is equal to minus 40 is the value at present of f. And what about c? The sum is already saying that f and c should be equal. We have already replaced c with f. It means whatever will be the value of f will also be the value of c. Both are equal. That is why this part is saying that f is equal to c is equal to minus 40, which we have already plotted in the graph as minus 40 minus 40. Equations of line parallel to the x-axis and y-axis is the topic. Let us take the first question based on this topic. Give the geometrical representation of y is equal to 3 as an equation in one variable. So here you are taking y is equal to 3 as an equation in one variable and you are going to represent it on the number line. This question is very important. It usually comes in exam. Y is equal to 3 on number line is a second standard question. How to plot it? First, you have to make a number line and then you have to put a point on the place of 3 and just you have to encircle that point. But this time you are going to write y is equal to 3. Like you imagine that this is y axis, though it is horizontal. Here we are imagining this is a y axis and we are plotting a point 3 and naming it as y is equal to 3. This is the representation in one variable. Whenever we want to represent it in one variable, we plot it on a number line. And when we want to represent it in two variables, we plot it on a Cartesian plane. So here I have given you the example of one variable and this should be plotted on number line. In the next slide, I'll give you the example of how it is plotted in a Cartesian plane. Now we'll give the geometrical representation of y is equal to 3 as an equation, but this time in two variables. In the previous slide, we saw that it was in single variable, so we represented it on a number line. But this time we are going to represent it on a Cartesian plane. How are we going to represent it on a Cartesian plane? It is very interesting. You can see that y is 3 all the time. Why? Because y is equal to 3. Simple. Y is 3. So in each pair of coordinate here on the table, you can see that y is equal to 3. But the interesting part is that when y is equal to 3, it is parallel to x-axis. So opposite thing, no? When y is 3, it shows on the Cartesian plane that it is parallel to x-axis. Why is it so? Now this y is equal to 3 is passing through the point 3, as in the number line it was passing through point 3. Now just imagine that this yellow line, the yellow axis, which is a y-axis, just think that it was horizontal as it was in the previous one and it passed through 3. Now here it is vertical and the pink line is passing through 3. So y is equal to 3 means it should pass through 3 on y-axis. When that line is passing through y-axis, naturally it is going to be parallel to x-axis. Hence this line is always parallel to x-axis and this can be a question of 1 mark, that if any line of y is equal to 3, then it is parallel to which axis? Then you can see over here that it's parallel to x-axis. It is opposite. Usually children think that if it is y is equal to 3, then it should be parallel to y-axis. But no. See, your entire representation is over here. And I am trying to tell you that just remove your confusion now. No confusion should be there. See the plotting on the graph and just be clear cut that when y is equal to 3, it is parallel to x-axis, and how it is. The pink line is parallel to x-axis. And what about the coordinates? You see, first coordinate is 0, 3, because at that time x coordinate is 0. As we are moving further, we are moving further on the y-axis, but our x-axis is changing. I mean to say that the points on the x, we are moving towards the right. So first point was 0, then the next point on the right is 3 on the x-axis. So we are getting this 3 3, and then you can even say 4 3. 4 3 is the next point on the x-axis. You are moving towards the right. So on the right, on moving towards the right on x-axis, the next point was 4. So our coordinate is 4 3. Further moving, you can see that next point is 7. So 7 3. We are moving on x-axis towards the right. That is why x coordinate is keeping on changing, but y coordinate is not changing, because the line is passing through the point y is equal to 3. Understand? This is how the entire plotting is working. Now we are going to give the geometrical representation of 2x plus 9 is equal to 0 as an equation in one variable and in two variables. As I previously told you that the representation of any equation in one variable will be on number line, and when we want to represent it on two variables, then it should be on the Cartesian plane. So here the first representation is on number line. Now here be careful that when we want to represent it on number line, the number is minus 4.5. So we need not write the positive numbers 1, 2, 3 and waste our time. They are of no requirement. They are useless to write the positive numbers on the number line. So what we have to do in order to make the number line decent, you just start from 0 and move towards the negative side. That is over the left side. So here you can see I have started from 0 and moved towards the left side, because I don't need any positive numbers. Children are in the habit of writing even the positive numbers, though they are not required, and the number line doesn't look so decent. So be careful about it. Here we are having minus 4.5, which is represented by the red point over here. It lies between minus 4 and minus 5, and it's exactly at the center. Now, how did we arrive at this minus 4.5? Then you have to solve the equation 2x plus 9 is equal to 0. First, you transpose 9 to the LHS, you get minus 9. And then you transpose 2 to RHS, then you get 9 minus 9 upon 2. What is 9 minus 9 upon 2? It is 4.5. And thus we got minus 4.5. Don't forget the minus symbol. Because why did we get this minus symbol? As we transposed plus 9 to RHS, we got minus 9. And this minus symbol is represented over here by the negative minus 4.5, which lies on the left side of the number line. Give the geometrical representation of x is equal to minus 9 by 2 as an equation in two variables. Now, as we know that whenever we want to represent an equation in two variables, we have to use the Cartesian plane. So, I have represented this equation in two variables. For that, I need a table. And in this table, you can observe that the x coordinates are constant. What are the x coordinates? They are minus 4.5. and you are seeing that I have repeated them 3 times. Now, why are they constant? See, here you can see that the point C represents the x x coordinate, which is minus 4.5, whereas the y coordinate is 0, and the line is passing through this x axis, right? It is passing through x axis. Now this pink line is parallel to y axis. Why? Because you can see that x is equal to minus 4.5 is having the constant x coordinate. But when we talk about the y coordinate, you can see that when we are moving upwards towards the north, each time we are changing the points of the y axis. You can see on y axis the points are changing. First point is 0, the second is 2, then is 4. What does it mean? It means the y coordinate is keeping on changing, but the x coordinate will remain constant. Such lines are always parallel to y axis. When x is given, then it is parallel to y axis. And in the previous sum, you saw that y was given. The equation y is equal to whatever minus 4.5, whatever is given, then it will be parallel to x-axis. This type of questions will be asked in exam, that if a equation is x is equal to minus 9 by 2, then to which axis will it be parallel? So be careful, it is opposite. If the equation is in x, then it is parallel to y-axis as it is passing through the x-axis. This line is passing directly through the x-axis, which is having, and it is parallel to y-axis. Therefore, the x coordinates are constant, but the y coordinates are varying. Thank you and all the best.